Floyd Mayweather. For 8 unbroken years from 1947 to 1955, he solidified his status as one of boxing's greatest, brutally knocking out opponent after opponents. Rocco Francis Marciano was born on the 1st of September 1923 in Brockton, Massachusetts under the nickname Rocky Marciano. This world champion is known for having been incredibly strong, to possess an extraordinary endurance as well as an inherent desire to keep pushing himself to the limit that made him one of the most legendary boxers to ever enter the ring. We'll cover his incredible knockouts from his early career through to his retirement that mesmerized the audience and made them love him. It started all the way back in 1947.
Impressive when you consider that Rocky is a pretty unusual heavyweight, even for back then. At 5'10", with arms slightly shorter than Manny Pacquiao's, Rocky was one of the smallest heavyweight champions ever.
Early knockouts, 1947-1951. These were some of the most violent fights of Marciano's fairly short career, which helped the viewer get an immediate glimpse of what sort of fighter he was, a knockout artist. On 17th March in a bout against Lee Epperson, Rocky Marciano started his phenomenal boxing career as the great heavyweight champion. Marciano fought Epperson using the name Rocky Mac to preserve his amateur status. Unfortunately for his early fights, there is almost no footage due to it being the late 40s. So we'll focus on showing images and giving quick recaps. His first fight, though, against Epperson ended at 42 seconds when a right uppercut from Rocky actually sent his opponent over the ropes. 2. Rocky Marciano versus Harry Bilazarian. Having not fought inside the ring for a year, Rocky Marciano was back on the 12th of July of 1948, beating Harry Bilazarian in the fascinating 4-round bout. In his case, it was big because it was the first fight Marciano fought under the ring name Rocky Marciano, with trainers Charlie Goldman and manager Al Weil. Instead of using his alias known as Rocky Mac to retain his amateur standing, he proceeded to Weil's advice and changed his name to Rocco Marciano, but since it was difficult to pronounce, he decided to call it Marciano. Bilazarian found it difficult to keep up with Marciano's intense attacks, which took him by surprise. Marciano won by TKO after the referee had to stop the fight in the first round. 3. Rocky Marciano versus John Edwards. Only a week after defeating Bilazarian, Marciano took on John Edwards on July 19, 1948. He quickly established his control and continued his run of early finishes. Marciano won his third professional fight in 1:19 of the first round with a thunderous right hand. The audience was amazed when his accuracy and hitting force were demonstrated. This fight demonstrated Marciano's capacity to stay intense in spite of the short intervals between bouts. Rocky Marciano's fourth professional fight against Bobby Quinn was on August 9, 1948, and it was a step up in difficulty. Quinn showed tenacity and resolve in this fight, which went into the third round, unlike his previous fights. Marciano won by knockout when Quinn was pushed to the canvas for the entire count after Marciano delivered a stunning right uppercut just 22 seconds into the third round. 5. Rocky Marciano versus Eddie Ross. Rocky's fifth fight took place just weeks after his Quinn fight. It was a clear victory for Rocky Marciano against his opponent Eddie Ross. He struck Ross's head with a powerful right hand in just 1:03 of the opening round. Ross's mouthpiece flew out of his mouth due to the punch's tremendous force. Ross was knocked out unconscious, and his body collapsed onto the canvas. 6. Rocky Marciano versus Jimmy Weeks. For his sixth fight, Rocky Marciano fought 6 rounds against Jimmy Weeks just a week after his last fight. The defending champion Marciano came under pressure early in the round as Weeks landed a couple of right hooks. But Marciano landed powerful punches on Weeks and regained control. A devastating right hook from Marciano hit Weeks' chin at 2:50 of the first round, and Weeks got knocked down and basically became incapacitated. This was Rocky's first fight where he didn't have it easy, but it would not be his last. During this era, there were many other tough fighters in boxing, some of which would not make Rocky's life easy. 7. Rocky Marciano versus Humphrey Jackson. In September 1948, Jackson faced Rocky in the ring very briefly. He was knocked out during the opening round with a brutal left hook from Rocky. Jackson tried to beat the count but was unable to recover in time. Marciano's swift victory further solidified his rising stature as a knockout performer. Each fight Marciano was moving up in competition, and as a result, his knockouts grew more sensationalistic and meaningful. 8. Rocky Marciano versus Bill Hardiman. Thus winning for the 8th time in his professional career, Marciano knocked out Bill Hardiman on September 20th, 1948, and went on with his winning streak. Hardiman went down after Marciano landed a powerful right hook to the opponent's chin in the opening round. 9. Rocky Marciano versus Gilbert Cardone. Marciano's next fight became one of the fastest knockouts in the history of boxing. It took place 10 days later, against Gilbert Cardone. Marciano's devastating knockout strike lasted barely 36 seconds into the first round and ended the fight immediately. 10. Rocky Marciano versus Bob Jefferson. Not the man needing rest, Rocky fought again 4 days later against Bob Jefferson. In contrast to several of his more rapid finishes, this fight went into the second round. In the first round, Jefferson showed tenacity and a threat to Rocky. But in the second round, Marciano was given another TKO victory after the referee halted the fight at 2:30 in the second round. 11. Rocky Marciano versus James Patrick Connolly. Now, Rocky seemed to take some time off and only fought again 8 weeks later. James Patrick Connolly and Rocky Marciano squared off on November 29th, 1948. Marciano put on another strong effort and won the bout via TKO in the first round at 157. When Marciano's constant bombardment of punches became too much for Connolly to handle, the referee intervened to break up the bout. Marciano's position as a rising star in the heavyweight division was cemented with this victory. Fans were immediately enthused by his perfect record and ability to finish battles, which increased anticipation for more tough challenges in the future. 12. Rocky Marciano versus Gilly Ferran. Rocky Marciano and Gilly Ferran faced each other on December 14th, 1948. Ferran tried to cling to the ropes at first, but Marciano's power was something impossible to overcome. At 2:21 of the second round, the defending champion Marciano went on the rampage and attacked his opponent until the referee stopped the bout, awarding Marciano a TKO victory. It was Marciano's heavy puncher and tendency to gain more confidence as fighting in the ring, as it was a victory. 13. Rocky Marciano versus Johnny Pretzi. On March 23, 1949, Rocky Marciano faced Johnny Pretzi in a fight that proved to be a tougher challenge than any of his previous bouts. Pretzi held his position during the first several rounds and demonstrated his skill and tenacity, but Marciano gradually wore him down with his unrelenting pressure and raw strength. Marciano delivered a powerful blow to Pretzi in the fourth round, but he was able to stand back and carry on. Marciano's barrage of blows knocked Pretzi down 3 times by the fifth round. At 1:46 of the fifth round, the referee stepped in to end the fight, and Marciano was awarded a TKO victory. 14. Rocky Marciano versus Artie Donato. That was one fight that sticks out, when Rocky Marciano fought Artie Donato March 28, 1949, at the Auditorium Providence, Rhode Island. They fought for only 33 seconds. Donato launched himself into a few lefts and rights from the opening bell, but Marciano swiftly had the upper hand. Marciano struck Donato's jaw with a devastatingly powerful right hand, which sent him tumbling to the canvas. The bout ended almost as quickly as it started, which demonstrated Marciano's explosive strength. The emerging star continued to leave his mark on the heavyweight division with another commanding performance. 15. Rocky Marciano versus Jimmy Walls. Rocky Marciano's 15th professional bout took place on April 11, 1949, and where he faced his opponent Jimmy Walls. Early rounds were competitive for the boxer, as Walls gained an advantage in the slow first round thanks to his better height and reach. But Marciano's constant pressure eventually started to wear thin. He knocked Walls down in round 2, and by round 3, Walls was obviously having problems. Marciano's powerful left hook to the body at 2:44 of the third round and knocked Walls out that left him sprawled to the ground for the duration of the count. The bout drew 2775 people despite its brief length, and its gross gate was 4,976. Marciano's perseverance and tremendous striking power were on full display during this fight and also strengthened his undefeated record. Defending his title, 1953-1955. Marciano's reign as champion brought a series of knockouts and title defenses. His opponents were high quality and much harder than what he had ever faced. 16. Rocky Marciano versus Jimmy Evans. Rocky Marciano won in his 16th fight against Jimmy Evans on May 1949. Marciano's constant pressure was wearing Evans down, but this fight was much closer to the previous ones of Marciano. In the first two rounds, Evans performed admirably. Marciano won the first round, then Evans outboxed him in the second. But in the third round, Evans was overpowered by Marciano's tremendous pressure. The referee intervened to break up the bout after Evans was stuck on the ropes and gave Marciano a TKO victory. Marciano's ability to bounce back from setbacks and emerge stronger was put to the test during the battle. This victory demonstrated Marciano's capacity to maintain concentration and exert pressure throughout the fight, demonstrating that his strength extended beyond fast knockouts. He remained a formidable force in the heavyweight division thanks to his endurance and well-rounded fighting style. 17. Rocky Marciano versus Harry Haft. Rocky Marciano contested a hard match against Harry Haft on July 18, 1949. He showed in this fight just how powerful he was and how incredibly tough he was in that ring. The first round was immediately controlled by Marciano, while Haft, who was known for his pushing, rushing style, was able to land a good right to Marciano's ribs. Haft and Marciano exchanged blows for the first minute of the second round, before Marciano's big right hand started to wear him down. At the end of the round, Haft was clearly exhausted. Despite a quick comeback by Haft in the third, Marciano's unrelenting assault was too much for his opponent. The battle ended when Marciano landed a barrage of punches at 2:21 of the third round and knocked Harry Haft to the ground. Marciano's force and rage were evident in his performance once more, and there was little grace but a lot of anger. With a gate of 2,147 and 1,655 spectators, the bout continued Marciano's run of domination in the heavyweight class. 18. Rocky Marciano versus Pete Luthus. Rocky Marciano and Pete Luthus squared off on August 16, 1949. Marciano's signature unrelenting pressure was evident in the fight. Using his footwork, Luthus avoided being caught by numerous of Marciano's strong punches in the first two rounds. However, Luthus was unable to handle Marciano's tenacity and aggression. Marciano's determination finally paid off in the third round. With a powerful left hook to the jaw, he sent Luthus crashing to the canvas. The fight ended there, and then the referee declared a knockout. Luthus was unable to recover from the brutal blow, which left Marciano victorious once again. This win added to Marciano's reputation as a fierce and unstoppable heavyweight. His knockout in the third round proved why he was a force to be reckoned with in the boxing ring. Marciano's patience and accuracy were on full display in this victory as he set up his deadly strikes. His position in the heavyweight category was further cemented as his increasing popularity as a knockout artist drew bigger audiences. 19. Rocky Marciano versus Tommy DiGiorgio. Rocky Marciano fought Tommy DiGiorgio on September 26, 1949. The fight put Marciano's stamina and capacity to wear down a difficult opponent to the test. DiGiorgio was renowned for his tenacity and proved to be a difficult opponent, carrying the bout into the fourth round. In the opening round, Marciano delivered a clean left hook that sent DiGiorgio down for a 9 count. Marciano started the fight off strong, but DiGiorgio got back up and fought back and displayed incredible talent and occasionally made Marciano miss. Marciano's constant pressure ultimately paid off in the fourth round. He downed DiGiorgio once again with a right-left combination that resulted in a 9 count. At 2:04 of the round, Marciano gave DiGiorgio a strong right hand that knocked him unconscious after he stood up. It was one of Marciano's longest fights to date, and it was a major turning point in his career. 20. Rocky Marciano versus Joe Dominic. Rocky Marciano fought Joe Dominic on November 7, 1949. The fight showcased Marciano's signature strength and accuracy, and he was clearly superior from the beginning and overpowered Dominic with his unrelenting attack. Marciano scored an 8 count after knocking Dominic down with a right hook in the opening round. Marciano demonstrated his ability to deliver punches in the second round by downing Dominic once again with a right-left combination. And finally, Marciano secured a knockout victory at 2:26 of the second round by landing an overhand right that prevented Dominic from continuing. 21. Rocky Marciano versus Pat Richards. Rocky Marciano stepped into the legendary Madison Square Garden for the first time on December 2nd, 1949, and marked his debut in New York City. The arena was known for hosting some of the greatest boxing matches in history and became the stage where Marciano would begin to carve out his legacy. Facing Pat Richards, Marciano wasted no time showing the crowd what he was made of. From the very first bell, he fought with intensity and pressed Richards. Midway through the first round, Marciano landed a powerful right hand that sent Richards crashing to the canvas for an 8 count. Despite surviving the first round, Richards was clearly struggling to handle Marciano's power and aggression. The second round began with Marciano pressing the attack once more and unleashed furious punches at his opponent. Just 39 seconds in, he landed another devastating combination that left Richards sprawled and unable to defend himself. Seeing no other option, the referee stepped in to stop the fight and awarded Marciano a TKO victory. The final knockouts in retirement, 1955. The boxer showcased incredible durability and finishing instincts in his final fights. His power and ability to finish opponents made him one of the greatest heavyweight champions in boxing history. Marciano retired undefeated with an amazing record of 49 wins, 43 of them by knockout. He left the sport at his best, and his legacy as a boxing legend still inspires fighters today. 22. Rocky Marciano versus Phil Moscato. Rocky Marciano and Phil Moscato faced each other on December 19, 1949. Moscato was famed for his toughness, and despite his best efforts, he was unable to withstand Marciano's constant pressure. Marciano attacked right away and hit strong blows that put Moscato's stamina to the test. He felled Moscato twice in the second round, first for an 8 count and again for a 9 count. And by the fourth round, Moscato was knocked down 3 more times. Moscato was knocked down again in the 5th round as he almost lost his consciousness. Marciano was given a TKO victory at 1:15 after the referee ended the fight following a final knockdown. Moscato was praised for his courage and determination despite the tough penalty. 23. Rocky Marciano versus Carmine Vingo. A violent fight between Rocky Marciano and Carmine Vingo took place on December 30th, 1949. Both competitors delivered strong blows and had incredible grit in the whole bout. Vingo's strong right fists caused some pain to Marciano and also tried to withstand Marciano's initial assault. But later, Vingo started to feel the effects of Marciano's unrelenting strength, and when Marciano delivered a crushing left uppercut. 24. Rocky Marciano versus Eldridge Eatman. Rocky Marciano and Eldridge Eatman had a fight on June 5th, 1950. The fight demonstrated Marciano's increasing power in the heavyweight division. Through the opening rounds, Eatman stood his ground well against Marciano's powerful blows. Nevertheless, Marciano quickly took control and knocked down his opponent for a 9 count in the second round after delivering a string of brief blows. By the third round, Eatman could no longer withstand Marciano's assault and was taken down once more by Marciano's strong right hook, although this time there was no noticeable hit landing. When his corner notices that Eatman seems unable to continue, they asked to stop the fight. The referee had to halt the bout and give Marciano the TKO victory. 25. Rocky Marciano versus Gino Bonvino. Rocky Marciano and Gino Bonvino fought hard until the 10th round on July 10, 1950. Bonvino retaliated with forceful counterattacks, but Marciano quickly gained control with his constant pressure. Although Bonvino fought hard, Marciano won the early rounds of the close fight. In the later rounds, Marciano's stronger endurance and constant pressure wore down Bonvino. Just 25 seconds into the 10th round, Marciano threw a barrage of blows that Bonvino could no longer withstand, which forced the referee to end the bout. Marciano's unbeaten run was further extended when he won via TKO. His image as a fighter who could outlast tough opponents was strengthened by this victory, which demonstrated his ability to keep up pressure and finish hard. Nevertheless, despite the fight's importance, no video of the bout has been located. 26. Rocky Marciano versus Johnny Score. Rocky Marciano faced Johnny Skor September 18, 1950. In the early rounds, Skor, who was a large and powerful opponent, used mauling techniques and kept close to Marciano and attempted to wear him down by pushing on him. Since Marciano had just been knocked out by Jersey Joe Walcott in one round before this bout, Skor's strength and harsh technique made things tough for him for the first 4 rounds. Marciano prevailed in the first 3 rounds despite Skor's strategies, while the fourth round was hotly contested. Marciano started to settle into a rhythm in the fifth and hit Skor in the eye with a right and a left hook, which brought him down immediately before the bell. Marciano launched a barrage of hard blows in the sixth round, and the bout ended at 128. Marciano won the TKO after Skor was knocked down 3 times in the round, each time receiving a 9 count from the referee. 27. Rocky Marciano versus Bill Wilson. Rocky Marciano and Bill Wilson squared off in a bout that ended almost as quickly as it started on December 18, 1950. Marciano unleashed a torrent of forceful blows on Wilson from the first bell and displayed his signature ferocity. Throughout the brief battle, Marciano focused on using his left hook and did it successfully. But his unrelenting assault left Wilson speechless, and at 150 of the first round, the referee had to end the bout because of a large cut above Wilson's left eye, and that gave Marciano a TKO victory. 28. Rocky Marciano versus Gene Simmons. The grueling fight between Rocky Marciano and Gene Simmons took place on January 29, 1951. Simmons was able to hold off Marciano's early barrage, which allowed the bout to continue until the 8th round. Though Simmons was resilient, but Marciano's constant tempo and strong blows eventually wore him out. Simmons was further weakened when Marciano struck his jaw with a crushing right hook. Marciano showed no signs of slowing down and kept up his intensity throughout the fight and claimed another TKO victory at 2:54 of the 8th round after a barrage of hard shots prompted the referee to halt the bout. Marciano's endurance was evident in this performance, as he was able to keep up his strength and concentration far into the middle rounds. No video of this bout has been located, but a picture from the fight that was featured in the Ring's April 1951 issue showed Simmons's face horribly warped as Marciano's glove ground into his skin from the side. 29. Rocky Marciano versus Harold Mitchell. Rocky Marciano continued his unbeaten run on March 20, 1951, when he defeated Harold Mitchell in an incredible performance. Although the fight was not well documented or captured on video, it is believed that Marciano's unrelenting strength and aggression were clearly visible. Marciano delivered a devastating blow that dropped Mitchell to the canvas at 2:45 in the second round that ended the fight quickly and earned Marciano another knockout victory. Even if there isn't any video evidence, Marciano's career gained another noteworthy chapter with this triumph. 30. Rocky Marciano versus Art Henry. Rocky Marciano fought Art Henry in a 9-round bout on March 26, 1951. Henry came out on top and trouncing Marciano in the opening rounds with close-range uppercuts and stinging left hooks. But Marciano's constant pressure quickly won out. Henry was unable to keep up with Marciano's strong two-handed attack by the 4th round as he started to settle into a rhythm. After Marciano downed Henry twice in the 9th round, the referee decided that Henry was too weak to defend himself and ended the bout at 2:51 and declared Marciano as a winner. Although there is no video of this fight, Marciano's victory was a significant milestone in his rise to the top of the heavyweight division. 31. Rocky Marciano versus Rex Lane. Rocky Marciano made history on July 12, 1951 when he won a fight with Rex Lane. Early on, Lane was able to tolerate Marciano's extreme pressure, but as the fight went on, Marciano's constant attack wore Lane down.
Referee Mark Kahn picks up the count. It's 10 and out for Rex Lane, who hasn't moved a muscle. He's really out. And Rocky waves are right on high.
32. Rocky Marciano versus Freddie Bashore. Rocky Marciano fought Freddie Bashore on August 27, 1951. Marciano's unrelenting aggression overpowered Bashore from the first bell and gave him little breathing room. At just 0:50 in the 4th round, Marciano delivered continuous forceful blows that knocked Bashor to the ground. It was the first knockdown Bashor had experienced in his 10-year career. By the time the referee reached the count of 10, Marciano's relentless attack had rendered Bashor unconscious, and the bout ended in a quick and clear knockout, and that added as another victory to his unbeaten run. But despite the fight's importance, no video evidence of it has ever been found. 33. Rocky Marciano versus Joe Louis. Rocky Marciano and the renowned Joe Louis fought in a bout that was held on October 26, 1951. The battle was important for Louis because he was a dominant champion in his past. Louis was worn down by Marciano's relentless pressure, even with his experience and talent. 3 and take an 8 count. At 10 fruition, the referee halted the bout and declared Marciano the winner via TKO. This victory was a turning point in Marciano's career and demonstrated that his strength and determination could defeat even the greatest boxing legends. 34. Rocky Marciano versus Lee Savold. Rocky Marciano and seasoned veteran Lee Savold faced each other in a vicious fight on the February 13, 1952. Marciano's unrelenting pressure and endurance were on full display. Savold had a 14-pound weight advantage going into the fight, but Marciano's relentless assault was too much for him. By the 6th round, Savold was weary and covered in blood after Marciano wore down his bigger opponent from the first bell. 35. Rocky Marciano versus Gino Buonvino. Rocky Marciano fought Gino Buonvino on April 24, 1952. The fight demonstrated Marciano's relentless knockout power, and he launched a barrage of forceful punches at Buonvino from the first bell. Marciano kept up the pressure in the 2nd round and delivered a string of devastating strikes. Buonvino was backed against the ropes after a particularly powerful right hand to the jaw, and Marciano wasted no time in firing additional powerful blows. The bout ended in a quick and vicious knockout when Buonvino was knocked down by a stunning blow at 1:35 of the round. Once again, Marciano's enormous strength proved to be too much for his opponent. '36. Rocky Marciano versus Bernie Reynolds. An exciting 10-round fight between Rocky Marciano and Bernie Reynolds took place on May 12, 1952. Reynolds got off to a good start and even took the opening round thanks to some good left hooks. But by the 3rd round, Marciano's strength had taken over. Marciano knocked out Reynolds for the 35th time in just 2:21 after delivering a vicious right punch to his chin. Despite Reynolds' successful bursts of powerful punches, Marciano's unrelenting body assault prepared the deadly knockout strike. He grabbed Reynolds by the waist and slammed him off the canvas, which sent him sprawling to the canvas for the finish. Despite its importance, no video footage of the fight has been found. 37. Rocky Marciano versus Harry Matthews. Rocky Marciano displayed his renowned punching power in a commanding performance against Harry Matthews on July 28, 1952. Marciano was active from the beginning and hammered strong shots at his opponent. Early counterattacks by Matthews were defeated by Marciano's unrelenting attack. Marciano knocked Matthews out cold with 2 devastating left hooks to the jaw. Marciano became one of the most feared heavyweights in boxing with this incredible victory, which gave him a chance to win the heavyweight title.
Rounds here at Yankee Stadium, New York. Matthews in the dark trunks. In 1948, he's won them all. He's had 105 bouts. He's a classy boxer. Heavy favorite tonight, 11-5. Showing much more speed than Marciano. Marciano. Keeping.
'38, Rocky Marciano versus Jersey Joe Walcott. In an exciting title bout, Rocky Marciano and Jersey Joe Walcott fought on September 23, 1952. Walcott stunned Marciano by knocking him down with a left hook in the opening round, and that was the first time Marciano had ever been put down in his career. Walcott was worn down by Marciano's unrelenting attack despite the early defeat. With Walcott leading the scorecards going into the 13th round, Marciano delivered a strong right hand to Walcott's jaw and left him unconscious. Marciano became the official world champion after winning the heavyweight titles in the NYSAC, NBA, and the ring. The 13th round was crowned the Ring Round of the Year, and the bout was named the Ring Fight of the Year.
Short right. Pace is very slow. With everything he had. Now Walcott has got Marciano in trouble. Marciano's He is intent on staying away now if he can. That's the right hand.
39. Rocky Marciano versus Jersey Joe Walcott. On May 15, 1953, the audience witnessed a greatly anticipated bout between the two fighters. The whole stadium was stunned by Marciano.
It's all over and the fight's over. Jersey Joe clubs around the canvas at 10 according to the rules. That's the knockout.
40. Rocky Marciano versus Roland Lastarza. The heavyweight champions, Roland Lastarza and Rocky Marciano, fought on the 24th of September. In the early goings of the fight, Lastarza looked somewhat good with him, but in no time at all he was backing up and being pressured by Marciano. At every turn, Marciano began to pound at the sides of Lastarza's head and arms and body. It took Lastarza to the 10th round when Marciano left him seriously punished, with deep cuts all over his face and bleeding from the mouth. In round 11, Marciano knocked his opponent off.
Garza retires to his corner, a courageous but beaten youngster, a boy who had come on a man's errand and done amazingly well for a while, a boy who thought he could beat the champion because once...
41. Rocky Marciano versus Ezzard Charles. On September 17, 1954, Rocky Marciano fought against the highly skilled and tough Ezzard Charles. Charles started strong, but struggled after Marciano knocked him down in round 2. In round 6, Marciano suffered a nose injury, and his nose split wide open. But his opponent didn't stop there, and again targeted it in round 7. Fearing the fight might be stopped, Marciano came out with renewed aggression in round 8 and fought Charles with heavy punches to his head and body. 42. Rocky Marciano versus Don Cockle. On May 16, 1955, Rocky Marciano defended his heavyweight titles against Don Cockle in a dominant performance. The first 3 rounds were relatively even, but as the fight went on, Cockle began to take a severe beating and was unable to land any significant punches on Marciano. By the end of the 8th round, Cockle was barely hanging on and trapped in the ropes after enduring a brutal attack. Though Marciano's pressure continued, and in the 9th round, the fight was stopped 54 seconds in after Cockle was knocked down twice.
Me money every minute he stays on his feet. They'll start saying I can't punch. I finally get the guy. Give me another round and I'm home. Bang him. Don't stop. I already had the punch going, but I couldn't do anything about it. He's not gonna quit. He'll make the count all right.
43. Rocky Marciano versus Archie Moore. On September 24, 1955, Rocky Marciano fought against the legendary Archie Moore in what would become one of his most memorable victories. Moore was a highly experienced and powerful knockout artist and proved to be a tough challenge for Marciano. Although Marciano was dropped in the second round by a right hand, he quickly recovered and mounted a comeback. He knocked Moore down 3 times before flooring him for the full count in the ninth round. At the time, Moore's record stood at an impressive 120-19-5, with 82 knockouts to his name. This victory not only earned Marciano his triumph, but also marked the end of his career. He retired undefeated with a perfect record of 49-0, including 43 KOs, and is considered as one of the best boxers ever. Rocky Marciano's career remains a shining example of what can be achieved with continual determination, unmatched power, and a never-give-up attitude. Despite retiring at the peak of his career, Marciano's impact on the sport of boxing is still felt to this day. He remains an inspiration to all who lace up gloves and enter the ring. If you want to continue watching, click this video on screen and you'll be even more impressed.